Okay, you can start. We are live already. Thank you. Yes, we are. Pay attention, please.
I'm a nutritionist and nutrition educator from Access. I'm here to inform you. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. My name is Amani. I'm a nutritionist and nutrition educator from Access. And I'm here to inform you of the various dietary in ways in which you can improve your quality of life with food. Because what people may not know is that food can improve your quality of life, and it can also negatively impact your life as well in the long run.
I think if you speak without the microphone, they might hear you better. Because honestly, this microphone is not given what it needs to. I'm sorry. Yeah, unfortunately.
مرحبا. الو. مرحبا، تسمعونا؟ اهلا وسهلا فيكم اليوم. اماني حتتكلم عن النيوتريشن، الغذاء الصحي، وشو الضروره من الغذاء الصحي عشان صحتك وصحه اطفالك، وان شاء الله حنسمع كثير منها.
اسمي أماني، أنا من Access. أنا nutritionist و nutrition educator. And I'm here to inform you about the various diets that you can that will improve your quality of life in relation to those that will negatively impact your life in the long run.
طب الكلام حنتكلم اليوم عن الغذاء مرة ثانية، بس المعلومة اليوم حتكون خاصة في الصحة لفترة طويلة، حياتك كاملة يعني. فبعض الأغذية حتساعدنا على العيش، على الحياة المستمرة يعني.
Right, I'd also like to shed some light on eating disorders because high school girls are most prone to developing an eating disorder. So I'd like to shed some light about that as well. Without further ado, so what is nutrition? So it's a process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for our growth and development. Okay, and what happens when we ingest food is it metabolizes, which means it breaks down to the nutrients that we need for our cells to take up and use for basic life functions. Like each organ is made up of cells, which are made up of tissue, and it forms the organ itself. So kidneys, what does it do? It filters our blood. And so what is it? So these cells take up the nutrients that we get from our food, and it does what it needs to do.
طب اليوم حتكلم بدون ميكروفون احسن، ها؟ تسمعوني؟ اوكي احسن. اليوم اكيد الموضوع حيكون عن الصحة، والنيوتريشن تعني الغذاء الصحي. فاليوم حنتكلم كيف الاكل او الغذاء يتكسر في معدتنا، وكيف يساعد في نمو الخلايا الصحية، وكيف يتكسر الاكل الصحة الصحية يعني.
Okay, so what is the importance of nutrition? It's for our growth and development. It manages our weight, and it's for disease prevention and management as well. So what a lot of people don't realize is what you eat really affects you in the long run. So you can prevent some diseases from happening or occurring. Or if a disease already came up, like celiac disease, which is your body's immune response that attacks its own cells, because of a gluten allergy. And by restricting gluten from your diet, it helps regulate and repair your intestines, because that's what it attacks in the first place. So how does nutrition affect our growth and development? It protects against malnourishment. It maintains our healthy immune system, and our immune system is needed to fight off viruses such as the COVID-19 virus, and we're not going to be able to fight that off. Our bodies are not going to be able to fight it off without the proper nutrients that we get from food. And it prevents obesity, and of course, obesity has a range of various diseases that go along with it in the long run, and then it reduces the risk of chronic diseases.
طب الكلام هنا تتكلم على النمو او النمو الصحي صح؟ فبشكل كيف يعني سوء التغذية. طب تتكلم على سوء التغذية كيف يكون عند الواحد يعني غير صحي، الواحد لما ما ياكل صحي يعني. فأول شيء risk and chronic disease الأمراض المستمرة هي الأمراض الطويلة. فأنت لما لا تأكل صحيا حيكون عندك أمراض غير طبيعية أو أمراض طويلة ولكن العلاج يكون عصر عنها.
Okay, and it reduces the risk of chronic diseases, as mentioned, and weight management. So how can you manage your weight so that you're not eating under the amount of food that your body needs or eating too much? Okay, consuming more fruits and vegetables, because fruits and vegetables have the most proteins. It has the most vitamins and minerals that we need. And I'm going to go over micronutrients in a later, probably at a later date, but not today, because there's very many. There's like 19 of them. And I'm getting at least 3 to 5 hours of physical exercise each week, and that is around 25 to 45 minutes each day, which shouldn't be that bad, right?
طب هنا نتكلم على الوزن، كيف الوزن يعني الحفاظ على الوزن. فالأول شيء لازم تاكل الخضروات أو الفواكه. وثاني شيء لازم تاكل بقلة بسيطة، مش بأكل يعني كتر، يعني حاجة صغيرة وزن صغير. وكمان الرياضة الصحية لازم تكون تقريبا من 3 إلى 5 سواع في كل أسبوع.
Okay. So consuming smaller meal portions is very important, but not to the point where you're anorexic or having an eating disorder. But I'm going to get to that, just not yet. Okay. Yes. So there's 3 main types of eating disorders. The first one I'm going to talk about is anorexia nervosa. The second one is bulimia. And there's the third one that not many people talk about, but it's called binge eating disorder. And I'm going to go through each of the ones. And female high school students are most prone to developing an eating disorder, which is why we brought you guys in as well.
طب اليوم حنتكلم على فقدان الشهية. في بعض الأوقات يكون عندنا فقدان الشهية بدون ما نعلم، يعني تقريبا الآن لو شفنا خاصة الأولاد أو البنات في هاي سكول يفقدين الشهية بدون علم، يعني خلاص تحس حالها إنها تتخفف بس في نفس الوقت تفقد الشهية، وفقدان الشهية يمكن يؤدي إلى أمراض.
Okay, so for the parents out there, these are ways in which you can identify if your child is struggling with an eating disorder, because it's very important because it can be fatal over time. Okay, so you need to look out for the emotional and physical signs, because not only does it take a physical toll on your body, but it also takes an emotional toll on your body, it's psychological as well. So anorexia nervosa is denying yourself of food to the point of self-starvation. You're not eating at all. You notice that your child is not eating at all. Or maybe they're eating, but they're eating in small portions. I actually have a patient myself that restricts her calories. Like she counts her calories. She's 80 pounds and she's only 5'1", which is, if you calculate her body mass index, that's 15.3. And it has to be at least 18.5 for it to be at a healthy weight range for her height. So she's weighing underweight, and she calorie restricts, and she works out, she overexerts herself, and that is not the way to go. Okay, your body needs these nutrients. Some emotional symptoms include irritability, social withdrawal, lack of mood or emotion, fear of being fat, obsessions with food and exercise. Okay, and I think you should have like this support system for your child and let them know that it's okay to be this way, but you can manage it and make healthy meals for them. And as this PowerPoint progresses, I'm going to show you how. Um, and then physical symptoms. Physical symptoms include inadequate nutrient intake. Now this is what happens to your body when you're not getting enough nutrients, okay? So you're malnourished. Loss of menstruation in women, fatigue due to the body's need to conserve energy. We get our energy from food, and if you're not getting enough food in your system, you're not going to be able to, you're going to be fatigued all the time. You're going to be very tired. Irregular heart rhythms, GI abnormalities, low blood pressure, dehydration, and sleep deprivation. And constipation is what I mean by GI abnormalities, mostly constipation.
اوكي احنا هي بتتكلم على فقدان الشهيه، فلما يكون عند الواحد فقدان الشهيه بيلزم بالبدايه انه بيخفف وزن، فلما يكون مستمرين تكون الامراض مستمره معاه. اول واحد يكون الايموشنال سيمبتومز، هي الاحساس الداخلي او الاحساس تجاه الاخرين او تجاه النفسيه. فثاني شيء بيكون عندك الفيزيكال سيمبتومز من ناحيه الصحه الجسديه، فتكون عندك نقصان في النوم، تكون عندك نقصان في كثير اشياء.
Okay. So the next one is bulimia nervosa. This is binging on very large amounts of food at once and then just throwing it up, or using laxatives, which is a temporary way to remove waste from your body, and which is forced vomiting as well. And excessive exercise here themselves of the extra calories that they consume. And this also takes an emotional and physical toll on your body, like a really bad one. Emotional symptoms include low self-esteem linked to body image, feeling guilty about eating, and social withdrawal. And then physical symptoms, binging and purging itself, because our stomach has a lot of acid. And this is because it fights off bacteria or foreign objects that enter our body, or the acid is there so that it can dissolve it, or you fight it off. But if you're eating and then throwing it all up, it's going to go into your esophagus, and the acid is going to either rupture it, and it can cause some cardiac problems as well, because it not only passes the esophagus, but it goes up to the heart as well. And then out of your mouth and your teeth can rot as well. Excessive purging can cause dehydration, and the effects affect the body's electrolytes as well. And what you don't know about electrolytes, I'm going to get into that. Electrolytes are essential for basic life function. So our body contains water, and the electrolytes try to balance it out so that water isn't in one place. Okay, all in one place, which is called edema. And you notice that in people on their legs, they have like a very increased leg circumference.
هنا نتكلم على الامراض العصبيه. طب الان لما نخفف احنا في البدايه نعزم كان نخفف وزن كما تكلمنا من قبل، صح؟ فلما بعدين بيكون عندك امراض نقص الشهيه، بيكون عندك الامراض العصبيه في البطن. فلما تكون عندك امراض عصبيه بالبطن، لما تاكل اي نوع من الاكل تخرج لبرا، يعني تطرش، اخواننا اليمنيين يقولوا تطرش او تبلع الاكل. فلما تبلع الاكل تبلع الحاجات المهمه في بطنك، زي الاكلات زي الاسيد. هذا الاسيد لازم يكون صحيا موجود في بطنك، فانت تضر نفسك للخطر. اوكي؟ وبس مش يعني تطرش او تخرج الاشياء المهمه، فلا يكون عندك الايموشنال او الاحساس الداخلي يعني مش تمام تجاه الاخرين كمان.
And the other thing that you should know about throwing up your food is that there are fatty deposits in your body, and they will still store all that fat that you get from the food that you eat. If you're like eating too much and then throwing it up, like not only is it harmful to your esophagus and your teeth, but it is, and your heart, it is also harmful to, you're still going to gain weight, like for a while, and then of course your body is losing out on the good nutrients, and it's leaving in the bad ones. So it's not doing you any justice. Okay, and it is fatal. It can cause death over time.
يمكن هذا المرض يؤدي الى الموت. انك انت تخرج الحاجات من ضمن المصنع.
Now, this is not talked about enough.
وقت يكون امراض في القلب، يكون امراض في المعده، يكون امراض في الاملاء، فهنا يعني مهم انك راعي مهم لازم تشرب هذا النوع من العصير. هو الكتروسايد موجود فيه نوع من الكهرباء او نسميه احنا العصير الكهربائي، فيساعد على تخفيف من الالام البطنيه.
As a nutritionist, though, I prefer you get your electrolytes from fruits and vegetables, mostly like avocados, all your green vegetables. That's where you can get all the magnesium, the calcium, the phosphorus, all the minerals that you need in order to keep your electrolytes and the water balanced. Water. And then another eating disorder that I like to talk about is binge eating disorder, which is not talked about enough. And this is when you eat very large amounts of food just because you're bored. You're not even hungry. You're just eating for fun. And that's an eating disorder. Okay? It's eating large amounts of food even when you are not hungry. Some emotional symptoms include feeling of embarrassment, disgust with yourself, depressed, or guilty about your behavior after you eat or consume all that food. And then physical symptoms, of course, overweight or obesity. Being overweight or obesity, which over time, of course, results in high blood pressure, high cholesterol, which can lead to heart disease and a heart attack and a stroke over time.
هنا بنج ايتنج هو لما ناكل واحنا يعني بعض الاوقات نكون زعلانين او نكون مهتمين في اشياء فنتوجه نحو الاكل فناكل يعني ناكل بقوه وكثير فهنا تجي الامراض زي السمنه او تجي الامراض القلبيه كمان من الاكل اللي ناكلها يعني بكثره لان احنا يعني مش محتاجين لها بس تخفف من الاحساس الداخلي يعني زي شو يسمونه زي الزعل او يعني
like if you're stressed out.
Yeah.
Okay, eating a lot of food just because you're stressed out. Try to control yourself. Self-control. How to overcome an eating disorder. Be there for your child. I know that as Arabs, we really stigmatize mental health, or we can stigmatize mental health, but it is psychological, and you need to understand that. And you take them to a therapist or a psychologist. They can really help. Okay, if not to talk it out, or a nutritionist, they can come to me. I have a lot of patients with eating disorders. So, being mindful of what you eat, consuming nutrient-dense foods, and I'm going to inform you about what a proper diet entails later on in this presentation as well, so that you know the foods to eat and the foods you should avoid. And then staying active, of course. Make sure they're doing some basic chores even to help them stay active and be more productive.
كيف نقدر نسيطر على هذا المرض او نقدر نسميه مرض؟ نقدر اول شيء نقدر يعني نتوجه نحو واحد يعني يقدر يساعدنا في هذه الاشياء، وثانيا نقدر نسيطر على الاكلات ناكلها، فهذا مرض خطير. بعض الاوقات تشوف حالك في المسياء او في الميرور بتشوف حالك هزران وانت مش هزران فتتوقف على الاكل.
It is most often psychological. So this is where we start at where I teach you what some foods you should eat or consume and what foods you should avoid because they're bad for your body. So macronutrients in general are just foods that you need in large amounts by the body and provide the body with energy and countless things. But I'm going to go into detail about them. So the three macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. You may have heard them, right? What are the three primary macronutrients? Foods, fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. So the first one I'd like to talk about is proteins.
الآن حنتكلم على الغذاء المهم، بس في أنواع من الغذاء، إحنا يجي عندنا البروتينات صح ولا يجي عندنا الألياف؟ او يجي عندنا السكر صح؟ فتيجي بنوعين من الاكلات، في واحد ماكرو نيوترينز هي الاكلات اللي تجي بكبرى زي اللحوم والاشياء، والنوع الثاني حنتكلم عليه او ما نتكلم عليه اليوم تقريبا هو الاكلات اللي تجي من الفيتامينات يعني ببله بسيطه مش بكميه كبيره.
So macronutrients are what you need in large amounts, and then there's micronutrients that you get from macronutrients because they contain vitamins and minerals. But macronutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Micronutrients are the minerals and the vitamins. We're not going to be able to talk about the micronutrients today, but I can give you a brief overview. But proteins are the building blocks of life. They're found in every part of our tissue, including our hair, our skin, and our bones even. And I would like to talk to you, okay, and their three main purpose is to build, oxygenate, and repair our cells. So every day when those cells are working to filter out our blood, let's say, for the kidneys, they repair, they lose out or they just get destroyed basically, and the protein is used to repair the destroyed cells. So this is the recommended dietary allowance, also known as recommended dietary intake, and this depends on your age as well as your BMI, but this is like a brief overview of how much protein you should be consuming each day, depending on your age. So 14 to 18 years old for males, you need 52 grams of protein each day, and then for females it's 46 grams of protein in order to maintain a healthy diet. Okay. Any more than that, you're going to gain a little too much weight. Any less than that, you're going to lose.
اول غذاء هو من الكميات الكبيره هو البروتين. البروتين هو نوع مهما لبني الخلايا. نحن نسمع في الخلايا النايمه وخلايا المائته او الخلايا التي تزيد، فاول شيء البروتين هو مهم لبني الخلايا الميته او الخلايا اللي تقريبا حتموت. فهذا النوع من البروتين او الكميه لازم الواحد ياكل منها في اليوم، او كميه البروتين في اليوم للناس كبار في السن او او يختلف بين الرجل والمرأة. فالرجل هذا النوع الرجل على حسب السنه، اذا كان عمرك تقريبا من 19 ل 50 الى 65 جرام بروتين في اليوم. اذا نقصت حتخفق شويه، واذا زيدت حتسمن شويه. لو شفنا هنا الحريم او النساء محتاجين اقل من الرجال يعني.
So some sources of protein are meat and fish, eggs, dairy products, seeds and nuts, legumes like beans and lentils. And so, for instance, 2 eggs contain 13.2 grams of protein. And then a can of tuna contains 25.1 grams of protein. So you can eat tuna and let's say peas for lunch, and maybe like 2 eggs for breakfast, and you can get your appropriate amount of protein that day.
أنواع البروتينات اللي موجودة أو نأكلها في اليوم يوميا، واحد منهم هو اللحوم أو السمك أو البيض أو الألبان أو اللبن. في أنواع كثيرة من اللبن وزي المكسرات. فإذا أنت يعني بدك تصحى الصباح تأكل شيء يعني صحيا، بس تحتاج لك نوع 2 بيضتين أو 2 بيض عشان تكون صحيا. البيض موجود فيه كثير من البروتين، فهو نوعا أو غذاء مهم خاصة في الصبح.
Flat grams of protein. And then there's carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are controversial. Have you guys heard of the keto diet, where people eliminate carbohydrates from their diet completely? Well, this is not a good idea, and this is the reason. It's our main source of energy. Okay, carbohydrates are our main source of energy, and there's good carbs, but there's also bad carbs. Okay, so the good carbs are the whole or complex. Now these add a lot of, they're very nutrient dense. However, the refined or simple carbohydrates are actually known as the bad carbs because they offer no nutritional value to your diet. Okay, they're processed carbs that have little or no nutritional value. The three main types of carbohydrates are sugars, starches, which break down glucose in the body, which we do need, and fiber, which aids in digestion. And it can lower your cholesterol levels. So there's two main types of cholesterol. There's high-density lipoprotein cholesterol, and there's also low-density lipoprotein cholesterol. The low-density lipoprotein cholesterol is what you want to stay away from, and this is the foods that contain cholesterol or they're high amounts in saturated fat. While the good cholesterol, high-density lipoprotein cholesterol, is polyunsaturated or monounsaturated fatty acids that you should include in your diet.
يجي نوعين من الكربوهيدرات، الكربوهيدرات والكربونات يجي نوعين، النوع الصحي لا يجيب فيه الزيوت الزايدة، والنوع اللي ما هو صحي يجيب فيه نوع يعني فيه الزيوت الزايدة. فأحسن شيء نتجنب الكاربس اللي فيه يعني زيوت زايدة على الجسم.
Okay, I was going to show a video. I'll show the video at the end. This is just letting you know how LDL and HDL work in the body, and I'm not going to show you that right now. So the sources of carbohydrates, there's good and there's bad. Some good sources of carbohydrates are vegetables, quinoa, barley, raisins, which are beans and nuts, beans and lentils, potatoes, whole grains, and oats. Instead of eating white bread or toast or pasta, you can opt for a more healthy carbohydrate, which is whole grain brown toast or brown pita bread or brown pasta. And then the unhealthy are the sugar-sweetened beverages, white bread, pastries, items made with white flour like donuts, any kind of chips are included in the bad carbohydrates section, as well as bad fats.
طب لو شفنا الصور هنا في نوعين من الغذاء الكاربس، في واحد عنده زي المكسرات الخضروات، هذا ما يوجد فيه كثير من الزيوت، ما يكثر او السكر اللي هو ما هو طبيعي. لو شفنا الصور الآخرة هي الصحية، هي الدونتس، الحليات او العصيرات او اي اشياء اللي فيها موجود الزيوت الزايد او السكر الزايد.
Okay, these are some pictures. Sweets, potatoes are also known as good carbs. They have good starches which break down glucose in your body. Your body does, your brain and your nervous system require glucose for your proper development. Okay, and then I wanted to show you this nutrition label. I don't know if you guys can see it from all the way back there, but this nutrition label lets you know how much let's say carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are in a product. And this is the Blue Mountain Dew. As you can see, there are 3 servings in just one half liter of Mountain Dew, the Blue Mountain Dew. There's 3 servings and a total carbohydrate of 130 grams for all 3 servings, but for the full bottle is 130 grams. And as you can tell by the recommended dietary allowance or dietary intake, we need at least 130 grams of carbohydrates. So you're getting all of that from 1/2 liter of Mountain Dew. And this is all bad sugar. It isn't even the good kind that you need for your body's growth. Okay, so what do fats do? Fats?
احنا لما نشتري العصيرات موجود فيها الكاربس او الكربوهيدرات. احنا ما نحتاج الكثير، بس لازم نفهم كيف نقرا التيبل او نقرا المعلومات اللي موجوده فيه. لو شفنا فوق مكتوب 3 servings، يعني الاشياء اللي موجوده هنا لازم نضربها 3 مرات. هذا الماء ممدود، العصير الماء ممدود موجود فيه تقريبا كربوهيدرات 46 جرام او 129، يعني الكامل 129 جرام في بس بالعلبه الواحده. طب صحيا كم الواحد محتاج بس الواحد تقريبا 130 بس. طب العلبه كامله موجود فيها 129 جرام. طب انت اخذت كل اللي يعني الصحيا للجسم يعني يعني يحتاج اليه، انت اخذته بس من عصير واحد. فليش العصيرات هذه مش صحيه؟
Okay, so fats. What do fats do for our bodies? They store the energy that we get from carbohydrates for later use. Like for instance, who's fasting? We're all fasting. We get our energy from the day before, the carbs that we eat the day before. So our bodies naturally, they store that energy that we get from the carbohydrates, and we're able to use them and be able to talk and get up in the morning. It's used also for insulation for our bodies and our organs, so that our bodies or our organs are not moving around in our bodies. Okay, so like carbohydrates, there are good and there are bad fats. The good fats are the monounsaturated or the polyunsaturated fatty acids, and then the bad fats are the industrial made trans fats and the saturated fats, which contribute to the bad cholesterol, the low density lipoprotein cholesterol.
طب شيء مهم، احنا تكلمنا على 3 عناصر غذائيه صح؟ البروتين، هنا نتكلم على الزيوت الصحيه، وحنتكلم على السكر. بس الزيوت الصحيه تساعدنا في حركه الاشياء زي الاورجنز او الاعضاء الجسديه، تساعد على الحركه، فهذا شيء مهم. فبس يجي نوعين من الزيوت، يجي نوع صحيا ونوع غير صحي، هنتكلم عليه بعد.
Okay, so the recommended dietary intake for fats is for us, children, 10 to 18, 22 grams of fat. And then for adult women, it's 20 grams of fat, and then adult men, it's 20 grams of fat. Now in the US, we're consuming way too much fat because many processed foods contain a lot of trans fats. And why is that? Because trans fats are very inexpensive, they're cheap to produce. And they taste good. They're very welcoming for our taste buds, but are they healthy for our bodies? And they include various amounts of processed or preservatives, which are chemicals that they put in food so that they can increase their storage life over the shelf. And that's good for companies. That's not good for our food, but for our bodies, right?
طب تكلمنا على نوعين من الزيوت، الصحي وغير صحي. الصحي يجي زي ال يسمونه هذا زيت الزيتون. احنا عارفين زيت الزيتون هو صحي صح؟ بس لو غليناه او حميناه يكون غير صحي، المادة حتتغير. فكم لازم من الزيوت يحتاج اليها الانسان يعني في اليوم؟ هذه الانواع، يعني لو كنت احنا تقريبا 20 جرام او 20 جرام في اليوم بس.
Okay, so there are two main types of good fats, and they are the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, and they can help reduce bad cholesterol, and they provide nutrients to help develop and maintain your body's cells. Okay, bad fats, trans fats. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, they're easy to use, they're inexpensive to produce, and they're good for your taste buds, but they're not good for you in the long run. They actually are the most that contribute to weight gain. So they give foods a desirable taste and texture, but is that really necessary? If it's causing you harm, no. No. Saturated fats tend to be solid and cause fatty deposits in your arteries, and your arteries are tubes that connect your heart to the rest of your organs, and they filter blood away from the heart. So as the blood goes from your heart to the rest of your organs, it's going to be blocked by those fatty deposits, and it's going to cause a hardening of the arteries, which eventually cause stroke and heart disease and heart attacks.
طب الزيوت اللي غير صحيا يجي نوعين، هو الترانس فات وهو يعني او الساتوريت فات. الترانس فات هو نوعا يؤدي الى السرطانات القلبيه، والساتوريت فات يبني الكوليسترول في الدم يعني.
Okay, so some sources of good fats include olive, peanut, canola oils, avocados, nuts such as almonds, hazelnuts, and pecans, seeds such as pumpkin and sesame seeds. I don't know if any parent wants to take a picture of this. This is very important. So this is when you're cooking, like olive, peanut, canola oils. This is the oils that you're supposed to use. In relation to coconut oil, this is a myth. Okay, coconut oil is good for you, and it's not. It's not a healthy oil to cook with. It contains a loaded amount of cholesterol, bad cholesterol. Okay?
طب احنا لازم نفهم ان الزيوت لما نخرجها من النبات تكون صحيه للجسم، يعني ناكلها زي الزيتون تكون صحيه للجسم، بس لما نغليها او نطبخ فيها تتغير الى غير صحيه. فهذه انواع الزيوت كما قالت مس اني، لو اخذت صوره عشان تفهموها، زي انواع الزيوت الهامه هي تجي من المكسرات، تجي من زيت الزيتون، او على ما تكلمت مس اني الكوكونات اويل هو نوع من الصليب.
مش منيح الكوكونات اويل.
يعني مش تمام. حصله رخيص في الماركه، خلي على بالك اي نوع من الزيوت حصله رخيص في الماركه هو غير صحي.
I was watching a video and this woman was cooking with coconut oil, and she was like, "Oh, this is a healthy alternative to normal oils, like olive oil." And that is the exact opposite. Olive oil is the healthy oil, and coconut oil is the bad oil. It contains a lot of cholesterol, a lot of saturated fat, and you should not be cooking with it. Okay. Yeah.
So if you, if a person has a lot of allergies to stuff that you put on their screen, like as almonds and
Yes.
pecans, what do you suggest that they eat for the fats on that side?
Well, there's always like an alternative. There's always an alternative to the foods that you want to eat. Like what are you, like the pecans? Is that what you're talking about?
Like nutless, you got peanut, you got the nuts.
Yeah, peanuts, the nut allergies. Oh yes, I mean I'd be very, very, no, nuts in general, they have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, and you can get that from fish. So you can.
So I'm allergic to fish, so I'm just saying, what's your alternative? Like for me, I'm allergic to seafood, fish, and I have like a nut allergy, right?
Right.
So I'm saying, what do you suggest that the alternative to eat?
I can make you a meal plan, so you can come to me after class. I don't want to be able to do this during class. Okay. I have another presentation.
There's an alternative.
There's always an alternative, and I can give you a list of them. So some sources of bad fats, including trans fats and saturated fats. There's baked goods such as cakes, cookies, and pies. Those are all bad. Shortening, even microwave popcorn. I mean, popcorn in general does contain fiber, which is good for you. But microwave popcorn in general have loads of preservatives. As mentioned, they contain a lot of chemicals that prolong their shelf life, but they're not necessarily healthy for your body. So you should not be consuming them. So frozen pizza as well contains a lot of preservatives, sodium, refrigerated dough such as biscuits and rolls contain butter and sodium preservatives. And then saturated fat, including butter, ghee, coconut oil, and palm oil are all oils that you should avoid. Cakes, biscuits, fatty cuts of meat. Now, I know a lot of Arabs, we love brown meat or red meat. And that contains a lot of cholesterol. Now, it does contain protein, but you have to realize that there's a larger amount of cholesterol in red meat than there are protein. So I would prefer chicken over red meat. Okay, chicken you can eat every single day of your life, and you will not develop any type of diseases. However, if you eat red meat too much, it can cause fatty deposits and high cholesterol. And over time, stroke and heart attack.
اوكي، احنا تكلمنا قبل نوعين من الزيوت. الترانس فات يوجد في الاشياء تيجي مكونه من يعني من السوبر ماركت، زي البوب كورن، هذا البوب كورن اللي نحطه بالمايكروويف ونسخنه، او البيتزا اللي بتيجي جاهزه، او الانواع الاخرى، او الفرنش فرايز، البطاطس المقلي. فنفس الفات يجي موجود في تقريبا الكيك والبسكويت، بس الاختلاف بينهم هو شيء ضروري، كل واحد يوجه الى امراض. يعني نتخلص منهم كامل احسن.
Okay, so and then cheese as well. Cheese is loaded with cholesterol and saturated fat, and you shouldn't avoid it because it is a part of what we need to intake during our meals, but not too much of it. I wouldn't suggest it every single day. Okay, and then physical activity is incredibly important. Okay, I know you guys have gym class. Do ninth graders go to gym?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, that's good. Okay, so what does it do? It improves brain health. It increases productivity. It helps manage your weight. It reduces the risk of disease. I watch like these, during Ramadan when I'm fasting, I watch these like competitive eaters. And I noticed that they're very lean. And that is because they eat so much, but then they work out and they lose it. They lose all those extra calories. Okay? And then reduces the risk of disease. It strengthens your bones and muscles. It actually is effective in decreasing your overall LDL levels. And then it improves your ability to do everyday activities, so it increases productivity. Okay, so what does physical inactivity do? So I'm not just talking about gym. Gym isn't enough. You need to be able to go home doing basic chores, going up the stairs in school or anywhere you go instead of using the elevator is known as physical activity as well. Okay, so little things like that. So what does physical inactivity do to your body? It increases stress. Physical activity is known to decrease your stress. I know school can be stressful, college is going to be even more stressful. So make sure you're getting like 25 to 45 minutes of physical activity each day. And then low resilience, mental ill health. It really does help your mental health. And then social isolation. So physical activity, as I mentioned, instead of going up the elevator, use the stairs instead. You know? Okay, moms. Okay, gardening is physical activity, bicycle riding, doing basic chores. Okay, so I know Arab parents make their girls do all the work in the house, but let the boys do something too. It's physical activity.
طب احنا لما نتكلم على الرياضه ما نتكلم عن الجيم، ما خلاص نروح الجيم نتريض. طب الرياضه هي الحركه المستمره، زي الحركه في البيت، الحركه في اي مكان، انها تساعد على الكثير يعني. وبعض الاوقات لا نخلي بس بناتنا في البيت يتحركين او يطبخين او يصلحين حاجه، كمان نخلوا الاولاد يعني عشان صحتهم.
Okay, so meal planning. So I suggest you guys have 7 meals a day, but 3 big meals and then small snacks in between. So every couple hours, so eat breakfast around like 8 or 9, and then after 2 hours, eat a little snack like an apple or any type of fruit or vegetable or whole grain crackers, for instance. Okay, and then have lunch, and then 2 hours later, eat a little snack so that you're not getting too hungry throughout the day. And then dinner. And then you can eat a snack before bed. I suggest you don't eat 3 hours before bed. And if you're a little hungry, you can eat a little snack, like vegetables are the best snack to eat before bed.
هذه لو شفتوها موجودة على التيبل تاخذوها، هالمعلومات اللي تكلمنا اليوم كاملة يعني، وأنا بشوفها تقريبا حتساعدكم كثير.
I wanted to give you guys a brief overview of micronutrients, but I don't have enough time. So maybe, yeah, let me show you guys the LDL and HDL videos so that you understand. I've never used an HP laptop before, so. So I hope you guys can see the video. Is there, are there?
Your mic.
Oh,
Other mic. Just play. You just leave it there.
If you or someone you know is high cholesterol, it's important to understand what cholesterol is and why it's important to keep it under control. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with high cholesterol, it's important to understand what cholesterol is and why it's important to keep it under control. Cholesterol is a fatty substance made by your liver and also ULA that is an active particle of lipoprotein. Your body needs cholesterol to make body cells, vitamin D, and a substance that helps you digest called bile. This video discusses two types of lipoprotein that carry cholesterol, low-density lipoprotein, or LDL cholesterol, also known as bad cholesterol, and high-density lipoprotein, or HDL cholesterol, also known as good cholesterol. LDL does anyone have any questions for me? Anyone have any questions?
حد عنده سؤال؟
Any question, guys?
Any questions? Questions, concerns?
Yeah. No? No? Okay, so thank you guys for having us. Thank you.
HES Academies have been serving the Detroit metro area for over 23 years, promoting academic excellence, leadership, and cultural diversity, ranking as some of the top schools in the state of Michigan. Our pre-K through 12th grade students enjoy tuition-free, state-accredited education by STEM certified and highly qualified staff with no geographical restrictions, and with advanced placement, college dual enrollment, scholarship, and Arabic language programs. Noor International Academy in Sterling Heights at niapsa.org, Star International Academy in Dearborn Heights and in Canton at starpsa.org, Universal Academy in Detroit at universalpsa.org, and Universal Learning Academy in Westland at ulapsa.org. Join HES Academies today and enjoy a free Chromebook for every enrolled student.